Howdy, Buffalo Bart here, and welcome. Sorry, a little bit of other stuff going on here. So tonight, I'm going to be working on the upgrades. Had some other issues come up with the previous version that I was working on. Um, Moving things and different folders and that kind of stuff. It pretty much killed what I was doing. And if I need to, I can show it. But so I just said to hell with it, and I dragged in some SMST assets and try to save the project a little bit for now, and I'll figure out what I'm gonna do with it later. Um, so far, what I'm doing here is adding in. Let's make sure this is hidden. Create server box. Yeah, it should be fine. Of course, I'm not running it in standalone, so it's going to say go connect to Steam dummy and show just a blank image there. I'll change that to something else, but the exit game button is down here by itself. It's no longer attached to this menu system. So if you hit single player, you now have a menu pop up instead of just going directly into the map. So you can actually do a map change. And I'm going to do that for multiplayer. And I'm going to do that here on the stream so you can actually see what goes into that. And if you hit lobby map, it automatically defaults to the lobby map. But let's go to level 1 and then launch game. So you can see it says level 1 over here. And of course, I've got it bound to the escape key to exit. So single player. If I leave it on lobby map and just launch game, see it says lobby. So there are separate maps. So it is going to 2 different maps. So what I'm doing here is on the server creation, let's go in here and do multiplayer host whenever you're creating a server. This is all that was in here before. So I'm going to go ahead and add in a map selection to this as well. So the server, whenever they're creating it, will actually show what the map is. You know, they can have multiples in here and be able to choose, okay, I want this map or that map or whatever, and it'll be just like the single player one. Still trying to get rid of the clean lines here. So if I'm in this, go to multiplayer, got to get the absolutes in here for the buttons. So whenever I hit host button, if I hit single player, I need to make sure that everything else gets closed before I can go into this, because you can see now it's overlaying on top of it. So there's still some little things that I'm going to have to do, but let's go ahead and get the stuff in here. I just put a little spacer in and do exactly the same thing that I did with all this stuff here, which is for now the single player button. So I need to host game menu display. That's fine. Create server box. Find server. Need the host game multiplayer nav button. Okay, that turns on those so we can see them. When I click on host, it needs to hide everything else. So let's make sure we're on the right path here. Hit multiplayer. When I hit the host button, it needs to bring up this. So host button, it just turns off the find server button and makes the create server box visible. Alright, so create server creation. Let's go ahead and start adding some stuff in here. So what I did with the single player was I went ahead and put in some text. And we'll put that in the vertical box. And we can... Ooh. No. Text. Get on the right thing, dumbass. So that it kind of stays centered up here. And we'll just say select map or MPA, either one. So we'll select map, and then let's go ahead and copy that and paste that spacer in. I'm actually going to make that smaller. And then I'm going to put in some horizontal boxes. Horizontal box into the create server vertical box. All right, so there's nothing there. So let's go ahead and I'm just going to put in a button. And then I'm going to put in some text. Now, I need to give these unique names so I know what they are. So this is going to be, find my position on my worn out ass keyboard, MP map 1 button. So I know what it is. And then doesn't matter on this, text is fine. You can just fill. So we'll see it there. And then I'm going to go ahead and copy that, go back to here, and I'm going to paste it in. So now I have a second one, and I'm just going to change that to multiplayer map 2 button. And let's give this some text here. This is just going to be map 1. Actually, let's go ahead and just set the name of the map in here. Lobby map. And this is going to be level 1. I don't like that they're smushed over like that. So I can actually take this spacer and I can copy that and paste it and then move it in between the two. So that just gives a little bit of a space. There's other ways of doing that, but you know, that works. And then do the same thing here, paste, and then move it up. I can make it bigger if I want to or what have you, but this is, you know, I'm not trying to make this a beautiful menu system. It's up to you guys to create your own menu system, or you can just use this and let it ride. I don't care. But this is a Tintin. Now if we want to, we can actually put like right here, use this map, or can actually add in a thumbnail for the map, or whatever you want in here. Just going to put in a text box into vertical box. Okay, so this text block right here, I'm going to go ahead and fill center, and I'm going to raise the font size to 50. What we're going to use is some of the variables that I've already got. So let's compile and save. So we look at our graph here. I've already created map to use and map name selected. So the way I did it was whenever I click on single player map, I am setting the information for what goes in there and what map to use. So technically I can just copy those, but I will do it manually so you can see what it is before we can bind this. Well, we can go ahead and bind this as well. And set on fill. We'll try it like that, and we'll just kind of come back to it. But on text right here, binding, I've already created it, or you can just, if you don't know how to do that, then, you know, essentially what I just did was told it to use this. Whenever you create a new binding, I'm going to use that map name selected, convert it to text, and plug it right into the node. So the text that's in there, where it says text block, will then change to whatever the map is. And what I've done is in the variables is go through, and the map name to use, I defaulted it to lobby map, which is the exact name of the map name, and lobby space map, or just the name what I want to call the map. So they have a default listing in there. So I want to go ahead, and whenever I select this button, actually let's go ahead and add one more button in here. Scroll up a little bit. So we'll put this button inside the vertical box, and we will add text to it, and we will call this button our MP launch game button. It's going to do the same thing as the SP launch button, but we want to have some good text in here. And what I want to hear is launch game. And I'll come back to that. Nice and simple. Now, another thing you can do here is if you've got more than two and you want this to say the same, you could actually put in a scroll box here and insert these horizontal boxes into the scroll box. And then you'll have the little tab where you can scroll up and down here and be able to scroll through the different options you have in there. So that's just another option you can add. So what I want to do here is, even though there's nothing on this button, you can make fancy buttons if you want to, but I'm just going to go down here, and on clicked, I'm going to move them. Two button, scroll down, on clicked. Now you can also get to them from here, but I want all you to be over here. So whenever I click the map 1 button, we're going to be doing the same thing here. So I'm just going to copy and paste these in. We're going to set those two variables. We're going to set map to use to this information, and we're going to set the map name selected to the name of the map. So, and these are names. That way they just plug into each other. All right, so what are we missing here? So when we hit that launch game button, we need to then create the server. So, y'all gonna be trying to steal my shit, man. Unclicked make server. I've already added in the map to use right here. Yeah, that should be functional. That's all I probably need to set for right there. So let's take a look at it. So if I hit multiplayer host, now I have this information here. I can select level 1 or lobby map, and I can create a server name, fart muffin, and then launch game does nothing. So we have the make button right here already. So we didn't need this, but we can take that one away and actually put it right there. Give this the functionality of that. So make server button. Make server button. Unclicked. So we can actually just get rid of this. And I'll just shove it over here. And launch, MP launch. MP launch game button unclicked. Plug that in there. Now that will do what I need. And we can actually get rid of the make button. There. And hopefully I didn't just kill it. So we hit play, hit multiplayer, host. Please enter server name, Frog Peckers server. We're going to go to level 1, launch game, and there we are. So it has just created this as a multiplayer game, and there is much rejoicing. Now, I have everything set to use the escape key. If anybody has any options for what other key can be used instead of escape, so that we can actually see what's going on, maybe the tab key or tilde, which I can't use tilde because that's being used by something. What other button would be good? Single player, level 1, launch game. Instead of escape, what else would be a good button to get the escape menu or the ability to go back to the main menu and into this game or whatever else? I like the escape key. It's functional. It worked for me. But other people may not like it. For now, I guess I could use, and that's going to be inside here, and the player, it's right there using the escape key, but I can change that to whatever else, like keyboard, tab. Let's use the end key for now for testing. I like the escape key. I think I will end up changing it back to that, but multiplayer, host, whatever. We'll stick to the lobby map, launch game. Hey, launch. So if we hit end, we get, oh shit, we get the fact that I use end to toggle between scenes on my freaking other software. So I won't do that. I'm just going to leave it for escape right now. I like escape. It works. Escape. Compost. Save. So now the next thing to do is to rectify. I'm on host game. Now I want to go to single player. I have to make sure that I kill the multiplayer one as well. So let's go back into the graph. Whenever I click on this, we're forcing it to turn off other stuff. So I'm just going to make this bigger, and we just do hidden. Control C and Control V. We're going to set visibility of, come on, thank you. The MP menu box. And what was that actually called? Create server box. Because it is a variable, I can just drag it in like this, get, and hidden. I will come up with a better way of doing this. But for now, if I've got single player menu up, whenever I hit multiplayer, it goes away. I hit host, I have this up here now, but now if I want to go back to single player, there. See, I'm having to hit the button twice, so I'm going to have to figure out why it's doing that and why I'm not able to fix that directly off with what I'm doing. So if you don't pick anything for your single player, it's just going to launch directly into the lobby map. So we go to multiplayer, it hides everything, host. See, I'm going to have to fix that. But for now, the functionality is there. And that's the thing is, you may not want to use my menu to begin with. You may want to. I mean, it's functional and it does what it needs to do, but I have to fix that issue. Whenever I hit it, no, I want that to go away on the first click. See, I'm having to click twice. So if anybody knows what's causing that, let me know. So now we can put in the server name, and we have the map creation or selection. Again, you can put, if you want, a scroll box here. Instead of inside of the vertical box, you can put a scroll box. So you have that capability of adding all that in there. So that now inside here, you can scroll up and down. But you can make this menu however you want. I just want it to be functional so that it gets you in and out and you can play. It worked the way it was. The original simple multiplayer Steam template works perfectly fine. There's nothing really wrong with it. There is no LAN functionality, and I have not enabled that in this version yet. The version that I was working on in the last video. Let's see if I can find that. I know I didn't delete the actual project. I think it was this one here. So the problem that I ran into is don't restore, go away. I lost my ability to use the characters that I had. So here, it's forcing us to create a player name. And once it commits, then I get this menu up. Then I go to mesh, and I can change through the meshes. So after going back into it and realizing that it was actually wrong, I didn't bother doing any more to this project. Which will probably end up deleting that whole project just simply because it's dead to me. You're dead to me, you son of a bitch. So yeah, it's why I came back over here and was working on adding this functionality in. I'm sure there's just something simple that I'm missing. That instead of going this route right here, I could be using external widgets and widget switcher and be able to swap between widgets inside that area, so that each of these things here would be a separate widget instead of building all the functionality in here. But I want to keep all the functionality in one blueprint without having to go to running it that way, because this is already a separate widget. As you can see right here, that's the player info widget. And another thing that could add here is, no, I don't need to hide that. Well, I mean, I can, it doesn't matter. The create server box, hide that. Find server box, let's unhide this one. It's going to report back any and all servers found. But the information that it finds inside there is going to be from another widget. So I go to find server box, inside that vertical box, it's server content right there. It's just a scroll box or vertical box. That actually should be a scroll box. But it is actually this. So you see I had the ping was showing up in here, and I got server name. Let's go ahead and add in the map name. So we got the join button, we got join text. This information right here, server name, get server name, and that is that. So in here, get player controller, join session, and I don't need that in here. Set input and hide. I don't know why that's in here. It doesn't need to be in there. So that's all it's doing right here is when I hit that button, it's just join. The data right here is getting reference to the blueprint session for the actual create server for the main widget. So you got player controllers, search results, data. So I need to add to this data, and that data is derived, without giving away too much shite here, from the create advanced sessions, extra settings. You get server name to use. I'm going to have to get rid of that because I got rid of it. Add another pin to this, and I get server name to use. Get game name. There we go. Get ping. I need to get rid of that, but because I've gotten rid of the functionality. So delete. So what I need to do is create another one of these after I go through and add that information here to the make array. Because we have the server name to use and we have map to use right here, we're going to have to get that pin. And I don't think you can just, no. So I need to create that in the extra settings. Got a player controller in there as well, but session property key. Find session property by name. Okay. Okay. Well, yeah, I can still probably do that. Make literal session property string. Literals. Yeah, let's make literal session property string. Then, and I'll have to come back and neaten this up here. The key is game name, so we want this to be map name. You guys shouldn't be seeing all this, my lovely secrets here. Server name to use. Got this is map to use. Map name selected. Yeah, let's use that. Let's get and plug that in there. Game name. Get session property. Game name. Let's look in the designer here. We need to add in text. So that's all that was just text. So I'll grab a text, drop it into the horizontal bar. Yeah, okay. And let's anchor it to the right. Hell, I don't know. We'll just have to see how it looks. I'll actually have to test this out with somebody, and that way I can actually get a look at it. So this needs to be a binding, create binding, and get text. We want to say get map name, and what we did was grab our data reference, get extra settings. Okay. Data, get extra settings. The extra setting that we need is what do we get from that? Get session property string. Get session property string, because that's what we had to create. And off of found, correct? Hell, you texted me, you son of a bitch. You know I'm streaming. Setting name none. Game name. Map name. I'm assuming that will work because that's just there and that, and then we need to do a toString. So, if this worked the way that it's supposed to, whenever you go in here and you're trying to find a game, it should show when it finds one, should show a join button. It'll show the server name and the map that they're using. The map name of the map that they're using for that server. And that's how you can add other information into that. If you want to add in number of players, you can do that. See how many people are actually, of the maximum number. So you could do 12 of 20 or 4 of 6 or whatever else. So if you want more information on doing stuff like that, let me know, because it can all work in this server list. And if you look at it now, you've got we just put this for this text here, map name, so we know what that text is. So if you want to add more data in here, okay, you got the join button, the server name, and the map name. Number of players would be something that would be relatively simple to add, because in this information here, you've got on your extra settings, number of public connections is 100, private connections is 0. You can set this as being your max connections. You can set that as an option in your menu. How many connections would you like? You can have the person creating the server saying max number of people that can join, whether it's going to be a dedicated server, use presence, join via presence, allow join via presence friends only, anti-cheat protected, uses stats, should be advertised. If you want it proper, hidden, you might could have password. That's one thing I need to look at later on, is adding in the option to add a password. I haven't done that yet, but doesn't mean that I can't figure it out. So private connections and public connections. There's so much more you can do with the with that widget. So I'm going to go in here and widget blueprint. Doesn't matter what the name is because I'm not going to save this one. Go in here and we don't care about you. And add advanced session. So just by typing in advanced sessions, you can do it all one word if you want, doesn't matter. In session, I haven't used, I use something different for when you go back to the main menu. Show that in the last video. Has online subsystem, okay. Get net player index, get number of network players. You can get the unique net ID, and this is something I'm going to be experimenting with on other versions of my projects. Getting player name, which is just the actual name. If you want your player to be able to use their saved name that they created in the main menu, that's one thing. Session information, you can do like we're doing here in the functions that we created for the bindings for making literal session property string. So let's do like create session. So this is a regular create session, and you get your player controller, number of public connections, and whether it's LAN or not. Whereas let's see, what was it? Create advanced session? Yep. Versus this. Now come on, what would you rather have? This at your disposal or that with all the extra information? Max number of public connections. Well, they're both the same thing here, but you have private connections. Still have your use LAN, but you have that extra settings right there, and that's going to allow you to do like I was doing just now in the other thing for showing the server information. When I create that advanced session, I can give it all kind of properties like public connections, or I can add in a variable of min player allowed, and we'll just change that to a integer because this is an integer, and we'll create another one of max players allowed. We can also do another one, current number players. With all those set at 0, you can set whatever you want for them. So as you're playing this in, your minimum number is always going to be 1, but for a multiplayer you kind of want that to be 2, but I'm just going to set that as 1. Max players allowed, we'll set that at 100, which is what the normal is already here, and no problem. So you see this is a bit of a weenie here. There's just not much to work with in the normal create session. So you got minimum players, maximum players, and current number of players is set to 0. Because you can actually get that information from, let's see, what was it? What was the actual get current players, and you can set and just put that information wherever you want it. Result, I mean, you could take that and put this over here and make a you can add that to your extra settings, in other words, so that you can then pull that information. You're going to want to probably make this into a variable. I think that's what I did on the other one, on the main menu. No, I did not. But this is and that's all you do for open level. But make array. I mean, so you come in here and make array. And whatever, you know, got this. You can add a pin. So on this, we want to go ahead and we want to get that information right there. So we're going to have to make literal session property string. And all right, you guys got to go away. You're already in my way. So this is the information that we're using. We'll just plug that in here. So this right here, current number of players, we'll just plug right into that. And key name. We need to have something to call this so that we can refer to it. Current num players. So now we have that information that we can just go right there. And anything else we want to add to that, same process. So now if we want to get max number of players, then let's do that as well. We'll get yeah, you're a little bit slow getting here, brah. What's up? Just showing some of the cool shit you can do with the Create Advanced Sessions, with the Advanced Sessions plugins, of making all your data you can put in here. So same thing we did here. We already added the pin in. We want to make literal session property string. Kind of just done that as an integer. And do that. Since it's already an integer, why convert it from one thing to another? Right? And we need to call this our current number of players. Just type it all out, don't matter. So that's what that is. Okay. So the same thing we did here. We're not setting that information right there because we just got that information before we created the session. So, go to the right pin. Come off of here. Again, make literal session property integer because we are using an integer here for the max number of players allowed. Max players. So now this is all going to be saved into this extra setting here. I need to create that as a data node. It's been so long since I created this that I don't remember how I created that frickin' data. Because I created that using all kind of other information and everything else, and I'm trying to move this around fast so I'm not showing all my goodies. I'll figure it out in just a minute. Because I created in server, I have the variable here that I was able to call back from it, which is blueprint session, blah, 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 blah. So I will try to find that here in just a minute. But this is mostly just showing how you can actually set up all this stuff as extra settings for pulling that information in whenever you want to, like on the improved version of the server info. So whenever you hit play, multiplayer, and find, before it had join. Whenever you found a server, it just had the join button, the name of the server. So what I've done is I have added in the map name, and the map name will now show exactly what the server name is and what the map name is, utilizing this get extra settings from the session result. So I gotta get that, and then actually figure out how I made that. So, they got that data variable. I need to recreate that data variable. So, but it's pulling from this information right now. I'm in this blueprint, so I don't need to worry about that just yet. So what other things would you like to see in the create server button or in the overall layout? Because this is good for showing all the stuff that you can add in here. Ignoring the max number of public connections and max connections, you could actually just do max players allowed and plug that in. So that information is there. There's nothing in this blueprint, this widget. I'm just was showing examples in a blank one. But yeah, on success, it'll just load the map. On failure, it can say, "Oh, your shit sucks. It didn't work. Whatever," you know. But this is just how to set that information. So what we've done here is on single player, we now have a menu that pops up. Instead of going directly into the game, it actually has a map. And if you look, launch game button here, you can change your maps. And it tells you what map you're on. I'm on level 1. I'm on the lobby map. If you're going to have more than the 2 maps, you can put a scroll bar box here and actually have 5,000 maps in here if you want to. And just put that information in. But if you don't change anything, you don't hit this button right here to change it to another map, the default will be the lobby map. So if I hit launch game, you can see, hey, I'm in the lobby map. You can see the word lobby right there. And then if single player level 1, change the name, launch game, we're in level 1. It's the same friggin' map. I just changed the text on that, you know. Multiplayer, whenever you're hosting a game, same thing now. Server creation, got rid of the button here. And now you can type in whatever you want for a server name. Love my spelling, right? And same thing, if you don't change the map, it automatically defaults to the lobby map. Or you can change to that and then launch, and poof, we're in level 1. And this is a multiplayer session. And there was much rejoicing. So, for the basic functionality of the simple multiplayer Steam template, what else do you need? What do you need, man? What else you want from me? I took out the character selection screen because that's easy enough to do and easy enough to add in. I would think it would probably work just as well if you go from the main menu map and then boom, go into the lobby map or whatever your first map is and add that functionality as part of your game, or you can set it up as part of the main menu. It doesn't matter to me. But I figure for the simple multiplayer Steam template, just an improved version, and yes, go connect to Steam Dummy. Let's actually play it in standalone, so it actually comes up with Steam functionality. But what else do I need to put in here in order for it to work correctly and better for the customers? I took out the red line here and the red line here. I put the exit game button standalone by itself. See, we have Steam functionality still. We have a single player menu for selecting the map. Should I go ahead and change this over to a scroll box for these two to be in a scroll box? finding, you won't see anything here, but you will see it whenever it comes in. So I think that's what I should do for right now, is go ahead and just change this over to where the maps themselves are actually in a scroll box. So connect to a server. It's actually in all the information for the servers that you find are inside of a scroll box. So create server. You got all this information here. We need to do that, and we need to, first off, we need to hide that box. Find server, hide. Create server, find. Okay, so these two, or these are, this should be a, not a spin box, scroll box. That way you've got the ability to scroll through the list. So if I add this into here, I want this to go in after select map and the spacer. And then let's give this a name. Map 1 box. Map 1 box. Already got that. Existing widget name. Where did I put that? Oh, MP, because I probably did that in single player. And this needs to be MP map 2 box. So I take this and put it into the scroll box. This and put it into the scroll box. Now, this scroll box is going to be there, and I can actually take that, and now it's going to be a scroll box. So if there's more, if I add a third map in, which, again, I'm not going to create any maps. I'm just going to, let's go to maps, lobby map, and then file, save current as, level 2. Oh, gotta have a 0. 2. And change that to level 2. Screw it. Let's do all caps. Level 2. Save all, save selected, build, just so I get rid of the messages. Y'all being awful damn quiet. If I don't do a lot of upgrading and all their extra crap because you guys don't pipe in and say anything. Because as far as I'm concerned, this is good enough for me. I'll just add the functionality of the third map and what it says, so that we can verify that it's a scroll box. Do map 1 box, copy, select here, and paste. We're going to call that map 3 box. And inside here, change this from lobby map to level 3. And change this to map 3 button because we're being lazy. And on map 3 button, unclicked, and then we're going to have to do all the way back over here. Same thing we did before. And I can actually just do this and this since I want to be lazy. And we'll change this to here, 2. So level 2. So whatever I click on, oh, that's multiplayer. We're gonna have to add that in for a single player. No, all 3 of you. So yeah, I just need to update this to where it's doing that. We'll do Control C and Control V so we can paste it in here, and we'll go ahead and add in the scroll box for we need to hide the create server box. We need to look at the single player menu block. I'm upgrading my simple multiplayer Steam template to add for a single player and for multiplayer, like when you're creating a server, to actually, I'm going to make that smaller, to actually have like a map list and things like that. Make that one smaller too. That was just filling it with text. So what we need to do here is that, and these are just dropped inside there. So I'm going to need to add in a scroll box right into, wow, that is a scroll box. Damn it. No, that's a vertical box, dumbass. Scroll box into here. Where you been living, under a rock or something? My simple multiplayer Steam template where you can basically have the Steam functionality right out of the box. Let's see, scroll box. Let's move this up to, yeah, it's the only thing that's my sole source of income. Put it right there. Put that in there. Put that in there. And we change this so it's correct. SP map box. And this needs to be SP, not SO, SP. Yeah, it's you go in here and I sell this for $20, and essentially what it is you build your projects off of this, or you can add this to an existing project. It's easier to just go ahead and build your projects off of this because it's very simple, very minimal, very the least intrusive that I could make it. Let's copy this and paste, and we need to change that to map 3 box. Sorry, I'm just updating this so that it's actually a scroll box. So whenever you buy this and you want to build your game off of it, and essentially you can make a multiplayer game a lot easier because you don't have to create your own lobby. This is your lobby system for creating and hosting, and other people to be able to find your game and just be able to play. I'll show you more here in just a second. Lobby map. This is going to change to level 2. I don't need map in there. So let's take the word map out of this because that looks tacky. Same thing here. That's the make button. And we'll leave it in there. Right now, it's only for Steam, but like I said, I keep asking everybody, what else should I add? Should I turn on Steam? I mean, turn on LAN functionality? It's kind of no point in doing a non-Steam function. All right, so that's level 2. So if we go back over to our main menu map and hit play in standalone game, this is what it'll look like right out of the box whenever you first load it up. Um, you have your Steam username and avatar, access Steam community, that automatically comes up and it works. If you go to single player, now you have, it doesn't show up as a scroll box because there's only 3 maps here. If there were more maps here involved, if you have 50 maps in here, then you would see a little box come up over here and you'd be able to scroll through with your mouse. But if you don't select any map whatsoever and you just launch the game, you go right to the lobby map. You see, that's the lobby right there. Hit escape, go back to the main menu. I want to go to level 1. It changes the text for what level you're going to. We're going to say level 2. Oh, I got to finish doing that. So level 1 and launch game. See, I'm on level 1. Main menu. But if you're doing multiplayer and you're the host and you're setting up your game, oh, I need to change it to level 2, dumbass. Yeah, you just type in a name for this is a dumb server, and I want to use level 1, launch game, poof, we're on level 1, and it's a multiplayer session. Anybody else who searches for my game will come up with the server name and the map name that I'm currently using and that kind of stuff. Level 2. So this is correct. We just need to do this. Unclicked. Move you over here. Was part of the way of fixing that. So the button will actually work. Now I need to fix the text for it. Compile and save. Yep, that's already there. Yeah, it's, you know, I've been installing this for like 3 years. That's why I'm surprised you don't remember or know about it or whatever else. This is a single player. It says level 2 there. Level 2, level 2. Level 2, level 2. Where did I screw that up? Level 2. SP map 3. Where the hell did I screw it up? I don't have to do standalone. The only reason why I was doing standalone is because it works with the Steam when you're in standalone, but not in just a regular menu. Was it in host? Yeah. Multiplayer. Okay. Not in single player. I did single player was fine. So yeah, and I use it for all my projects because who doesn't have a Steam account? You know? See, level 3. That's level 2 is the name of it. So it just gives, you know, let's do a new pie window. So I took out the red lines and stuff here because not everybody wanted to see that. But before, whenever you, with the old version, when you hit single player, boom, it just goes into the lobby map. It didn't do anything. So now it gives you an option for being able to already have a scroll bar and to quickly add in new maps. I may or may not look into making it easier to add new maps, but whatever. So level 1, level 2, lobby, go to multiplayer, host, lobby, level 1, level 2, finding a game. And here's the thing: is with this, um, before it used to have a um, when I need to give them. Well, I'm sure there's some way for you to get set up to work on Steam. Um, everybody in the world can use Steam. I mean, even I love China. It's a beautiful country, but and I understand why they have their laws on certain things for content and video games and stuff like that. I'm not saying anything bad about it, but some countries have stricter laws, and yeah, I mean, it's just a way to deviate from those. Now the server list comes up. You got a join button. You got server name and map name will come up. So it'll show the actual name of the map that the host is using in that. I could go ahead and do like I was doing in that other, to kind of show an example of things that can be added in. You can show the current number of players. You could have it split where you have a number here that's the current number of players, a slash, and then another number that says the number of max players allowed. So I could create all this right here essentially. So like on whatever your custom event is, like I farted. Whatever your trigger is for doing this, like launch multiplayer game or host game or whatever, like I'm doing it in my menu. Get current number of players. Well, screw you, I'll do that. Still not going to work correctly. I don't care about this actually working. We're showing how you could actually get this information. It's kind of hard to get that number, so you're going to have to do that a different way. I don't know how that's going to work, so we'll look into that later on. So don't need you, need you, and we'll just plug you into here. And so yeah, whatever information you wanted to store as extra information, like I want to know the max number of players. I want to know what the ping is. I want to know what other information can be obtained in this. So whatever variables you have, like current number of players or max players allowed, minimum players allowed. And so if I wanted to pull this data in here also, just grab that, get that. And I'm going to do it this way. Make literal session property integer. Then plug this into here. And that's it. So now that information is stored in my advanced session. And let's see here. On success. Well, there's no promote to variable thing here, but you can retrieve that session information anytime you need it while you're in game and that kind of stuff too. But while you're setting up this information then can be fed into your server list info, because I have it set to where if there's 1,000 people playing the game or 1,000 servers being hosted, whenever you go to find, it'll be a scroll box. It'll only fit into a certain amount of room here, but then I probably need to push this box up and clean that up a little bit. But it shows that information for each and every solitary one of those servers. Main menu widget, and need you anymore. We need the find server. See, I got it kind of small, so I need to make this bigger. So if there are more people who are actually playing, and have servers listed, this vertical box, I need to scale it up. So let's do it by 800 by 400. And then we'll change the position to -200. So a little bit more room inside this box right here. It'll sit a little higher and you won't see anything until there are servers hosted. But if there are 20, 30, 40 of them, it's a vertical box here. But inside that vertical box, the server content is actually inside a, I don't know why that's hidden. Is actually inside of a, that's a vertical box. Why the hell is that a vertical box? Oh my god, dude. Seriously, I told you I was fucking live streaming, and you texted me 6 frickin' times. Yeah, that showing as a vertical box. That actually needs to be, instead of being that it seems to work. Well, it's one of those things where if it's not broken, don't fix it. But it actually will keep going until it fills up this. But I need it to be a scroll box. Yeah, because it's just plugging in new children each time. So server content. Because it's right there. And I'm pulling that variable for it to be a child of. So I'm going to have to actually go in there and redo that. So inside here in this vertical box, I need to have scroll box. So vertical, put that there. And I'm going to rename this. This was stupid. And this needs to now, you see, now that I changed that, if I go to my graph, this was stupid. It was automatically renamed. So I need to now change the name of this to server content. It'll have nothing in there until I actually, let's make it a variable. So now if I come over here, server content, plug that there, and replace that, and ditch that. So thankfully I found that, or else that would have been an issue. So now this is a scroll bar. So if it fills up, you'll actually have the ability to scroll up and down. So now we hit play. See this? Yellow, but we find server. You don't see anything at all. Like I said, whenever you start getting a lot of servers being populated, then they will just start popping up inside here. And if it overfills the area that it's allocated to use, then it will create automatically a scrolling capability. So it's there. It works. Everything's working. There's some little tweaks I'm going to have to do here and there, but it's still working and will function as it is. So I could package this up and let it rock. Exit game button. That was one of the things that I wanted to add in here. I was going to do a chat system, but again, I don't think that's something that should be part of the simple multiplayer template. If I do a chat system and I do a lot of other cool things, then I think that it should go from a simple multiplayer Steam template to a advanced multiplayer template or Steam template or whatever, uh, instead of the regular $20. If I'm gonna give you more, I want more for it. Sell it for $40 instead of $20. But I need to know from you guys, the customers, the consumers. I need you guys to tell me what the hell you want to see. So running it in standalone game. So if you were to run the packaged version of what you see right now, this is what you're going to get out of the box. You're going to have Steam functionality. It pulls this up automatically. It's going to show your Steam username, your Steam avatar, and I have not changed that in 10 years. If you want to create a single player game, you now have single player options. You can make this menu as pretty as you want. You can add as many maps as you want. This is a scroll box. So again, if you have 30 maps in here and there's too many for it to show in this little small area, this is a scroll box. So it'll just give you the ability to scroll up and down through the map list. Whenever you select one, it updates the information here. You could add in an image if you want to. You can do whatever you want. But for functionality purposes right now, boom, it works. There, I'm in level 2. I'm not making levels. I'm not making anything other fancy. For the simple multiplayer Steam template, I think this is about as much as I really need to do, unless you guys can suggest something else. Go back to the main menu, multiplayer. I want to host a new game. Be level 1. Give it a server name of Frog Pecker, not Frog. Damn it! Why do I keep doing the same thing? I'm gonna go to type frog. I type frog. Frog Pecker Studios. I want level 1 and launch game. Yay, and there was much rejoicing. And anybody with a Steam account, with Steam running in the background, and that has the latest copy of this game, will be able to join you and see your server and have basic functionality. So I think all I'm going to do right now is I need to figure out why whenever I hit this and this, but now if I hit single player, it's fine. If I hit multiplayer, I have to hit it a second time before these two will open up, and then I gotta hit host again. I'm not getting 100% precision. Every time I hit the button, I'm having to sometimes hit it twice. So that's the only problem that I need to work out. It's a minor problem. It is nothing major. Multiplayer, damn it, I gotta hit it again. It's a very, very minor thing. No, hit it again. So if that's the only problem that I've got, then I will isolate that problem and figure out what it is and fix it. But this to me is good enough to call update 2. So if you guys want any other suggestions for the simple version, let me know. See, my brother is logging in. So, if you guys have any suggestions, let me know in Discord. I'm going to get out of here. I got too much other stuff going on. But other than that, that's the only thing I've got left to fix is some overlay issues and, that. The find lobby, that's not disappearing. When I click on single player, find lobby, it's still not disappearing. So I got minor little things, but I mean it's functional. It's dysfunctional like me, but it's functional. All right, so let me know on Discord. I'm gonna get out of here. I got a bunch of stuff going on and 3D print stuff. Love it. However, I'm having some issues I got to resolve on that as well. And at some point, I would actually like to make something to eat. Ooh, cheap. I'm sorry, it's like a ooh shiny. All right. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you guys around. If you want to get your hands on the Simple Multiplayer Steam template, the current working version, or this version here, as soon as I get that last little tweak done, then it's $20 US dollars. And as soon as I get the money via PayPal only, then and $20 US currency, not Canadian dollars or Australian dollars or pesos or whatever. It has to be US dollars. I've been screwed in the past on this. It's my only source of income, so you guys, just look out for me and hook a brother up, But $20 US currency to PayPal. Let me know that you're going to get it and that you're sending the money and that kind of stuff through Discord. And as soon as I receive the payment and it's in PayPal, I will give you the link to download it, and you are good to go. All right, I'm out of here. Love you guys. See you around.